aside and let someone else take CEO, he's still going to be like chairman of the board and shit.
This is great.
Oh, that second hit, though.
Concussion! We could probably get started here in a minute, Yankum. Yankum. Bueller. Bueller. Bueller.
Bueller. Did you see the was it the news on SmackDown and Raw for next week?
No.
Ad free for the first hour. For the spirit of the holidays.
No one's gonna watch.
I know. No one's gonna watch. I'm not even gonna watch because I'm gonna be at I'm gonna be at my mom's place with my sister, and we're gonna be eating Christmas dinner, and I'm not turning that on with them around.
I'm gonna be watching. I got nothing else to do, so.
Yeah, it's Christmas Day Monday, isn't it?
Yep. And it's in Chicago, of all places. Right after Hideo Itami debuted on Raw. Or on 205, but he's probably going to be out on Raw again.
Well, I hope so. It's good enough for both shows.
Can you guys see what's wrong with that picture?
Yoda.
And the thing is, I had to really look there, but yeah.
I just like looked at everything once, and then I like rechecked, and I was like, "Oh, there's Yoda."
Joe looks pretty wrinkled.
Since all freaking Star Wars movies are going to be released around Christmas from now until forever, they should make like a little Star Wars major.
They should.
You guys,
yes.
Did you guys hear about Florida State?
No, what happened?
So they won 6 games and qualified for a bowl this year, but apparently Reddit's college football board did a look into it, and they beat Delaware State, who doesn't have enough scholarship players in order for them to count toward bowl eligibility. And so they technically should not have been in a bowl game, and another school got screwed out of it. I think it was Buffalo. Yeah, it was. It was Buffalo.
That's fucked up.
It's hilarious. And what's even better now, here's the twist at the end of that story. The school that FSU beat that supposedly was supposed to make them ineligible, Delaware State, Buffalo is playing them next year. So there's a good chance that they might get fucked twice because even if they beat Delaware State, it's not going to count towards going to a bowl game. And people are going to be very aware of that now.
Whoops.
Delaware just doesn't matter.
I'll take that as a strong.
I mean, the University of Delaware has a decent little program, but yeah, mostly Delaware just doesn't really matter that much.
Still, if you got 3 wise men, a 4th one from another galaxy wouldn't be too untoward.
Jesus, you are not.
Oh, yeah, you were talking about the Star Wars manger? That's all we need. Baby Anakin Skywalker.
And once again, the Ducks cannot hold on to a lead. We were up 3-1, and now we're down 4-3.
3-1? Are you kidding me? Oh, gee.
Blew a 3-1 lead. Nice.
How do you blow?
Because the Ducks have no fucking defense. And also Ryan Miller's in net, so...
Check.
Hey, my God.
Hello, fearless leader.
We're waiting on Yankum to actually respond.
Hello?
Yep, because I'm on the Twitch channel and there's nothing here.
We're moving to YouTube, bud.
Really? Oh, hell.
Wait, why did we move to YouTube?
Because because nobody's watching us on Twitch.
Well... Alright. I mean, was anyone watching us on YouTube?
We had 4 views last week. That weren't us.
Oh. I think the main problem why no one was watching us on Twitch because we had it set to talk shows and not Fire Pro.
Well, there's that too.
But I said that like months ago and no one listened.
Even when I do Wrestle West, I only ever get like 1, maybe 2 people in my Twitch channel that aren't like in West itself.
Streaming sucks.
But yet, if I play a different game, I just fucking immediately will get like 3 or 4 viewers.
SMARK. Yeah, there we are. Top of the list. Smark Snark.
So if something posts on if something posts from Twitter, it posts on Facebook and it posts on or if something posts from YouTube, it posts on Twitter and Facebook at the same time.
I'm gonna go shield the podcast on YouTube or Twitter.
Okay, so there's the blue screen with the belt, and oh, that's right. I turned the speakers off on my TV. And we're up and working. About a 5 to 10 second delay, but still pretty good.
I didn't realize Yankob had already put us on the air.
I think he put us on the air for the pre-show before Omega got here, and then he just might have walked away from his computer for a minute.
Didn't he do this last week?
Might
Yes, I think
have.
he did.
So, hello to all you Smark Snarkians out there in internet land.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Joe.
Iron helps us play.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Cosby.
No.
Well, it figures with all his bad publicity that this would be the only booking he would get.
Nah, he wouldn't even get this booking. Who do you think we are, CZW?
Robbie Burrito.
You know, CZW, the promotion that still openly books a Nazi.
I have only one thing to say about that. Jesus!
Well, I don't know. I think Cosby versus Michael Elgin could draw a few dimes.
I'd watch that.
I think it would put all the women to sleep.
I mean, hell, Elgin has Suzuki's worst match on this title reign, and that's a title reign with Yoshihashi with a defense on that. That's
How could
bad.
Elgin have a bad match with Suzuki?
Be fucking terrible?
Oh my god, I was just looking at the video of that escalator ride. Oh, painful.
Dude, you guys stop. You should listen to Michael Elgin. He doesn't have bad matches.
Oh, that's right! He says he doesn't have bad matches. He must be right. That was obviously an Elgin impersonator that just looks dead on like him.
What a stumpy little fuck. He definitely has short man syndrome.
I'm shorter
Oh,
than
hell
he
yeah.
is, and I do not even have an issue with my height. Then again, he's only 5'10" in a company or in a sport surrounded by people that are 6 foot plus. Or at least a lot of taller people in the US.
Speaking of this, I was just thinking the other day, did we hear anything along the lines of whether or not NJPW is going to finally do more American shows, or are they putting that on the back burner now?
There's the Long Beach show in March. They're having another one. It's at the Pyramid in the Long Beach University. I can't remember the name of the Pyramid, but it's where their college basketball team plays.
It's just the Pyramid. That's
Yeah.
what everybody calls it.
Yeah, it's got some other name attached to it, but it's just the Pyramid. Like I've never heard anybody really call it by its proper name.
Okay, well, that's good. I was kind of curious as to whether or not they'd have more shows. You know, rumor was going around they'd want an entire United States division, but I don't know if that's ever going to hold water.
Or not March. I'm not actually. When is it? Does it have a date yet, or?
It's March.
Okay. I'm just waiting for them tickets to come out. It's like they're pushing this. At least at the Pyramid, you're in a proper stadium. You know, like there's actual bleachers that you can sit on, and not that floor seating that we had at the last show. So people actually be able to see that are, you know, in shitty seats.
Depends upon how bad the shitty seats are. I mean, we'd all love to have front row center seats, but then, you know, how bad would you be able to see? I just remember Total Biscuit when he went to WrestleMania 31. Was that the one in Texas, or was that 32?
That was 31.
That was 31.
No, that's 32. 32, never mind.
Oh, it was 32. Okay, anyway, Total Biscuit said that the ring... Was that 32? I don't know. Anyway, just to get my point out, Total Biscuit said that he was on pretty much ringside and then the floor was, the ring wasn't sitting on the floor. The ring was sitting on an elevated platform above the floor, which made it harder to see the in-ring action. So
WrestleManias are terrible at seating, period. Because
WrestleManias are usually terrible in general.
Remember when the year that they wrapped the structure, like the pylons around the ring that go up to the thing that just holds all the lighting up, they just wrapped them like palm trees and blocked a shitload of people from being able to see through like the metal structure.
yeah, that sucked.
You mean TNA? With
Yes, WWE's TNA moment happened at a WrestleMania. Let that wrap around your mind.
So I'm looking through these WrestleMania events, and TNA is the main event that goes against, I believe, ROH and NXT on Saturday night.
Ooh, that could be interesting. I mean, how exactly would you categorize what the better show would be? I mean, they were too far in the future. They wouldn't have cards for that, but
It packed ROH and NXT running on the same night at the same time.
yeah, I can't imagine that'd be too good of a thing for ROH or TNA. Or I'm still calling it TNA. TNA's defunct. It's Impact Wrestling.
It's always TNA.
It'll always be TNA.
Here's a little fun tidbit. Do you know the Elite promotion?
Vaguely.
That's the one in Mexico?
Yeah, basically,
Yes.
some guys came out, like Garza Jr., saying they hadn't been paid, and then the promoters came out immediately saying they were lying and sent tweeted some text messages and things, and then they tweeted a check with the names blacked out for the hefty amount of 650 pesos, which is like $34.
Ouch.
And so basically, Garza called them on that. Like, you really think I would do a show for 650 pesos? And the elite promoters threatened him again, saying they were going to sue him and they were going to use their contacts to get him fired from Impact. Which, good luck with that one.
What does it matter if he gets fired from fucking Impact? He's not making any money there either. Is this the... Okay, so is Elite... Is that the same company as DTU, or is that a different company?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at a picture of this pyramid, and all I can think going through my mind is this would be a pretty good seating for pro wrestling.
Well, while we're waiting for Yankum here, what do you all think about the first ever Women's Royal Rumble?
Okay. I know that they want people from both Raw and SmackDown in this, but I still think if you don't bring in at least a few NXT people, hell, if they don't bring in Nikki Cross for this, I am going to be pissed beyond a shadow of a doubt, because Nikki Cross is just plain nuts, and having her in there would be amazing, in my opinion.
Is it 20 or 30 people?
They haven't said a number.
See, I don't have an opinion on it until they say a number. If it's 20, I think it's going to be pretty good because it's going to be mostly main roster people. But once you get up into 30,
guarantee you, Trish Stratus is going to be in this, and it's going to be like two other like.
Ooh, you think Trish and Lita?
Not Lita. Her neck is fucked.
Oh, yeah, that's
yeah, her
bad.
neck is not. She can't.
Trish, yes, I believe Trish will be in the match.
You can bring back a lot. You can bring back Michelle McCool. You bring back Eve Torres. They're still in great shape. Layla could come back.
Maria Menounos.
Yep.
Oh, please no.
My caveat isn't necessarily with the match or with who's going to be in it. It's more the fact that, I really hate these segments where Steph comes out, like, all the women on the roster are brawling. And Stephanie comes out, and they all immediately stop.
They just stop.
Parted like the Red Sea. Oh, my God.
And then Steph makes her big announcement because, just like her husband, they have to be the center of attention when it comes to these big historic announcements. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad they're doing it, but it reminds me of like in NXT when Bayley and Sasha were having those great matches that they never have anymore. And like after the match, like the whole roster would come out and clap and celebrate, and Hunter would give them both big flower bouquets, and Sasha had just lost and was supposed to be selling, and she kind of takes the flowers and whatever, and then walks away, and I'm just thinking, it's great that the women are main eventing and they're having these good matches, but if you really want them to be on an equal playing field, stop making it such a big deal whenever they do anything. You know what I mean? Like, quit applauding the fact that they had a good match. If women are capable of a great match, then let the match stand on its own merit. And
you have the same problem that I have, is that everything has to be historic, whether it is or it's not. You're making women's history. Why can't it just be a good match? Like,
history.
It's the most annoying fucking. That's what you. It's like Kane versus Brock. We've never had a one-on-one match, and they're teasing like they're gonna have it. I don't want to see that fucking shit. I don't care if they've never had the match before. That match is gonna suck ass. I don't want to see it. It doesn't matter if it's historic or not. You can actually sell this as like, we have enough women's talent that this could be really good. But instead they sell it as it's a historic moment, and Steph comes out and it's a big announcement, and that's what closes Raw. It's just fucking stupid.
And you know, I'm used to Steph or Hunter or whoever making these announcements, but when they literally go from brawling with each other, and again, the current storyline is that Absolution is trying to destroy or dominate the division, and they're going after Asuka, who's, you know, undefeated, and Alexa Bliss is kind of on the sideline because she's the heel bratty champion. And then they're all fighting each other in the ring, and then they stop and they make this announcement, and they're all celebrating. They're all raising each other's hands, like, you know, it's a great moment. Like,
and here's the thing about that, and what bothers me about it all is the fact that they just didn't bother, because, you know, we got to work the workers, man. It pisses me off.
You know, I mean, you know, it's kind of like when they air a commercial for Total Divas during SmackDown, and Lana's in it, and she's not doing her accent, and she's using her real name. And, you know, not that Lana's on the show every week, but it's like, you know, I mean, kayfabe is dead, obviously, but at the same time, it's like you can't shift gears right in front of our face. You know what I mean? Like I know if Alexa does an interview, she's not really Alexa Bliss, the awful champion who wants to destroy. Well, you see them. Well, maybe.
Okay.
How about Paige? Paige isn't really. She doesn't.
Here's a much better idea, and here's a way that this could make a shitload more sense. And Stephanie is involved, and she's the one that makes the announcement about the match. You have both brands literally being taken over by a trio of girls who run around just beating the shit out of each other. And then one Monday Night Raw is ending. It was supposed to be a big women's tag match. It's ending in a clusterfuck, and they're throwing each other around. And all of a sudden, Stephanie's music hits. She comes out, and she goes, "You know what? I am tired of this shit. You all want a shot at each other." She doesn't have to say exactly that, but it's like, you all want a piece of each other, and you all want a shot at the championship? Well, you're going to get your chance. We're having a Royal Rumble match. And it would work, and she'd be the one making the announcement. It'd still be historic, but it wouldn't be fucking corny and lame, and just... It would give us a reason to care about the match, because they all want to fight each other. And I thought that was the whole reason they brought these women up. When I first heard the rumors, is like, this is the perfect way to set up that match. Just they go around destroying everyone, and then you have both divisions in the match, both SmackDown and Raw, and it's like, it's perfect. It's genius. You can have the standoff between the two groups. You can have these people who want revenge. They can get revenge. They fucked it. They just botched the whole thing.
Oh yeah, that would have been a great way to keep it in kayfabe.
Not to mention too, on the next night on SmackDown when Shane comes out, and this is right after Clash of Champions, and you know Brian making the pin or making the count and everything. The first thing he says is, first of all, that announcement on Raw about the Women's Royal Rumble was historic. And then he doesn't say, and rest assured, SmackDown's women will be in that match, or I spoke to Kurt Angle and we've struck a deal to make sure that, you know, whatever. He doesn't say SmackDown's involved at all. He just says, and you know what else is going to be historic is tonight, because da-da-da-da-da. You know, like, it didn't make any sense for him to bring it up, because he didn't include SmackDown in it.
You're right. I missed that part completely. He didn't say anything about the SmackDown women participating, even though you think it's going to be a fact. Hell, if I had my druthers... Anyway. Yeah, I can't even remember how many women are in their women's division off of each brand.
10 at most. For SmackDown, they were rolling with a good 6, maybe 7. So like you add the 3 for each, and it's 10. So that's why I think it's going to be 20. But then if you go to 30, you're going to have to add.
Okay, so that would be 10 from SmackDown, 10 from Raw, 5 from NXT, and maybe you could get 5 girls back from the Mae Young Classic.
You're going to have the legends that are going to come back, and watch Stephanie McMahon get in there too.
Oh, sweet Jesus, no. You think?
I wouldn't doubt it.
I wouldn't put it past her.
No, see, the other thing that annoys me, this is historic and everything, but immediately the big rumor was, are they going to debut Rousey at the Rumble? Is she going to win the Rumble?
Please no.
Yep, it's going to be Rousey.
And I'm just thinking, how perfect would that be if they have this historic first ever Women's Royal Rumble, and they bring in an outsider who, granted, is a wrestling fan and everything and has been training, but is an outsider that they're probably paying a lot more than any of the women they have to come and win the Rumble and be in a not a main event, obviously, but in the prolific match at WrestleMania. And
yeah, that'll breed a lot of goodwill.
As long as we're on that subject, while we're still waiting for Yankum,
Women's Money in the Bank being won by a man.
Well, that too, and the first ever Women's Hell in a Cell was awful. Not awful, but pretty.
It was fine.
Pretty
but it wasn't great.
Pretty subpar. Let me put it that way. And it wasn't really it wasn't totally their fault. It was just.
If I could make a point, I believe that the first Hell in a Cell in general was awful as well, relatively speaking.
Well, you're probably right, but the first women's one was bad because it was booked awfully, and they teased they weren't even going to do the match, and then they started the match and they sucked all the life out of the room, and then both girls were sore, and the spots they wanted to do they wouldn't let them do. So it was kind of a big mess, basically. It wasn't god awful. I should correct myself on that point, but it was a big mess. So, and while we're on that subject of Rousey, I thought it was funny this week that did it happen at Final Battle where that big dropkick sequence?
Yep.
Yeah.
Where basically, who was it? It was the Bucks and was it Chucky T and who was it, Gunner?
It was the Bucks, Chucky. It was the Bucks, the Best Friends, Hangman Page, Cody, and Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian.
What?
Yeah,
no, it wasn't like half those guys. It was Flip Gordon.
Oh, Flip Gordon.
It was Flip Gordon and CMLL dudes versus fucking. It was like Teton and some other dipshit.
All right,
against the Bucks and fucking. I don't know who the hell. You were just throwing random ass people. I don't even think some of those people were on the Final Battle card.
All right, well, regardless. Do you know who it was, AJ?
No, I don't know who it was. Unfortunately, I didn't see this until later when it went on Twitter, and freaking both, what's his name, Cornette, and was having a conniption fit about it, and Dave Meltzer was also poo-pooing it.
Well, let me say this. The spot itself I thought looked pretty silly, because it's not the fact that they did a bunch of dropkicks in a row. It was the fact that it was clearly a spot. Like, they clearly weren't trying to hit each other. They all leapt in the air and did a drop kick, but weren't trying to hit anything. There was no forward progress, basically. Like, if they were trying to hit each other, then that's one thing. But when they're all just jumping in the air at the same time, then it looks pretty silly, I think. But I think it's funny that people always point to these spots and say, well, not people, certain people, they always point to these spots and say, this is what hurts the business. This is what makes things pointless. This is what, et cetera, et cetera. And, WWE, for the past 3 to 4 years, has pushed Roman Reigns, a guy who's not over. He's kind of over now, but not. He's not Steve Austin over. He's not The Rock over. He's not John Cena over. And they push this guy, and they push him, put him in title matches. He's going to probably headline his, fourth WrestleMania in a row and win the title. You know, he's beaten guys like Triple H. And they're doing that, in essence, for money. The idea is if he's our top guy and people want to, you know, if we stick with him, he will be our money guy. And then they do stuff like, speaking of Brock Lesnar, they give Brock Lesnar 7 figures to do, 14 dates a year, twice as many dates. And they do that because of money. They think, you know, people are going to pay to see him because he's a special attraction. Ronda Rousey, like we were talking about, they're probably going to pay her quite a bit of money, 6 or, you know, surely 6, if not 7 figures, to come and be a wrestler because they think people are going to pay to see Ronda Rousey, you know, big UFC, ex-UFC star, whatever. And even the UFC, for that matter, they didn't pay, but they allowed Conor McGregor to fight, you know, the most prolific undefeated boxer ever in a match that never should have been sanctioned under normal circumstances. And in fact, the reason it was sanctioned is because money, too much money to be made. So,
well, you know, he was a confident Irishman.
Oh, that's true. But
Very confident.
my big point in all this is that whenever people criticize something WWE does, or for that matter UFC, the idea is, well, you know, the point of this business is to make money. But then when the Bucks do, you know, 4 drop kicks in a row or 20 super kicks in a row, and the people in the crowd are all wearing their shirts that they bought at Hot Topic, mind you, and they're still going to go clean out their merch table before and after the show, and they can afford to spend $5,000 to rent an empty arena for a few hours to film a segment of Being the Elite, I'm thinking to myself, you know, that's hurting the business. You know, people criticize the Bucks. They say, well, that's hurting the business, you know. And, you know, my point is, you know, they do those things because people like them and they pop for them and then they buy all their merchandise. So, you know, I mean, they have a point. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I said, you know, the spot looks silly. You can't do that every night. You can't just make a mockery of the whole thing. But, you know, at the end of the day...
My question is this, though. I mean, really, what it turns into is...
What?
Lost you there, Gunner. You still there?
He's dead.
Rip. Hello.
Heard
Hello?
that.
What the fuck? Okay, that's weird. No, basically it's the Bucks. Are the Bucks the definition of the industry, or are they a reflection of what the industry is right now? You know what I'm saying? Are they the front of the wave, or are they the mirror?
That's a good question. How would you define that right now?
I would say the wave more than the mirror because, you know, I mean, the reality is, you know, WWE has put on, to be blunt, a pretty mediocre product throughout this year. And they can afford to do that because they have their network and they have, you know, the stock's gone up, actually, surprisingly, despite ratings going down for various reasons. You look at Impact doesn't really do anything different. You know, they have different people and they have different companies that contribute, but they fail to really provide a different product that people want to see. And that's why, I mean, even at the beginning of this year, when the first thing they did was fight Hardy over the broken thing, and then, you know, you're bringing in certain guys to be authority figures, and, you know, I mean, they, you know, nothing really had changed, and that their current state reflects that. And I think when you're talking about the Bucks and everything, I mean, these are guys who, I mean, it's really unheard of that the wrestlers themselves are looking to do a show and rent an arena.
No.
I mean, not really. It's almost a throwback to like the territory days, kind of.
Well, correction. It's unheard of in the last like 30
Yeah.
years. Like, I mean, as far as like guys who they aren't in WWE, they aren't in the secondary promotion. They're in the Japanese promotion, but they're still their own guys. It's not like they're the ones spearheading this New Japan show or anything. It's like this is our own kind of contained show. And well, you know, it's definitely unheard of that they would have merchandise anywhere but their own table or online shop, you know, national chain, Hot Topic. Not to mention it's outselling, you know, Rick and Morty at times. I mean, I think it kind of reflects a situation where, you know, there's a certain kind of, you look at any segment on Raw and we could say, you know, I don't claim to know what's gonna make, you know, a 4.0 rating or whatever, but I do claim to know what's going to be better than what they're doing right now. And, you know, if you look at guys like the Bucks or whoever, where the wrestlers, you know, even when we were talking about that Hell in a Cell, it's like, you know, they didn't give Sasha and Charlotte a Hell in a Cell match and give them 30 minutes and say, okay, go book it. No, they booked the match. They booked the point where it looked like Sasha wasn't going to be able to compete, and it sucked all the energy out of the place. They made the audibles telling them, you know, you can't do that moonsault spot, you can't do this or that. And granted, that was a good idea because they were hurt or whatever. But you see my point. Like, very rarely do they say, okay, go, you know, you got your 20 minutes, your 30 minutes, go get over and book your match. And, you know, I think that's a big detriment as to why the product's been so mediocre. And now you have this wave of guys like the Bucks, you know, staking their own claim, and like they're the ones, they live and die by their own hype, basically, or their own standing. You know, it's not like New Japan is telling them, you know, go film an elite segment. You know, here's $5,000, go find an arena. Here's, you know, $100,000, go rent an arena and do this show, and you know, put these guys on the card, and here's your main event. You know, I mean, they are truly being independent, and what comes with that is you have, you know, you're not at the mercy of what the promoter thinks, and as a result, you know, I mean, it could sink, but it could very well swim as well, because again, these are guys who they're in this position in the first place because of what they did, and it got over, and you know, people like it and they want to see more of it, and you know, who's to say it won't get tiring, or you know, it won't last forever or whatever. But I mean, even a guy like Chris Jericho, for God's sake, who's got this match at the Tokyo Dome, who, you know, is a tried and true WWE guy, and yet here he is doing this. He's doing his rock and wrestling cruise. You know, the ultimate point being, you know, when you've got guys creating their own destiny, not just in charge of their own destiny, but creating it, then I think that's a wave that we're going to ride for the foreseeable future.
Okay, I got two questions. First, is there any actual wrestling on the Rock and Wrestling Cruise?
Oh yeah, he's got
absolutely.
He's putting a ring up. He's partnered with Ring of Honor to. He did an interview with Meltzer and Alvarez, and he said, you know, I wanted to make sure that when I booked this thing so far in advance that I would have some guarantee. So I partnered with Ring of Honor because no matter who or who may not be with Ring of Honor at the time, you know you're getting Ring of Honor wrestling. So there's definitely going to be a ring. They've checked out the boat and all the particulars and everything to make sure. He's probably not going to wrestle on the show, or at least that's what he claims, because he's in charge of the whole thing. He's got 100 things to do. But
Pro wrestling on a cruise ship. That's amazing. And the second thing, it is now 1 minute after the top of the hour, and as Shao Kana just put in the chat, should we just do this without Yankum? So if you guys got an eye tint, I say we just go for it.
If we're live, I don't mind just doing this shit. So I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I was trying to fill the time here by ranting about a couple of things, but yeah, 1 minute. 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 1 min
Are you actually controlling that? Let's hear it for the bots, ladies and gentlemen. That actually worked. Pretty damn cool.
I mean, it's pretty neat. So, yeah, we're going to do the podcast tonight. Yankum DDS is missing right now, so we will be we're flying solo at the moment. So my name's Gunner. This is episode 284. Thank you, podcastthemes.com, for our theme song. You guys can. My name is Gunner, and excuse me, this is that's Omega BR over there. Before I forget my manners.
Well, you already let the machine talk before me, so
right. I mean, Net Jester's here. He could technically be the technical producer or the untechnical producer.
If I knew thing one behind what I was doing, yeah, sure, I could type this all out in my phone.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Speaking of shots fired, Shao Kahna's here.
Yes, and I see Yankum is taking yet another long shower like last week. Or other things.
Vassar's here.
Speaking of showers, I think I need one after this.
Oh, and Save Us Dog.
Well, hello. I would just like to say that this is the XFL. This isn't the XFL, actually. This is a Smark Snark podcast.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I got everybody's hopes up for some good to mediocre football. Instead, you're just going to get a mediocre podcast.
And concussions.
I'm sure there are plenty of concussions in the chat.
All of the concussions.
Yes.
God damn it. Yankum's not here. It's going to be a good podcast. If my button would work. Just almighty.
Maybe swap it out while someone else is talking.
Yes. Give me a minute.
Should I read the news?
Yes, you should.
Okay, let me see if this works.
Alrighty. And first on the news is Vince McMahon has started a separate company from WWE called Alpha Entertainment, geared toward exploring investment opportunities across the sports and entertainment landscapes, including professional football. On June 28th, WWE filed a new trademark for the XFL under Education and Entertainment Services. Today, McMahon sold 3.34 million shares in WWE stock, netting around $100 million to fund the venture. Well, this is either going to... who am I kidding? This is probably going to fail miserably.
I don't know.
It's going to be fun to watch, though.
I don't know, man. As long as they add something new and interesting to football, I think it'd be worth it.
I feel like right now would be the perfect time to do it because, let's face it, the NFL's ratings, downward spiral. Entertainment value, non-existing. It's time for something exciting in football.
The only exciting thing in football is just watching teams fail horribly over and over again, but the quality of play right now is terrible.
And we want to see Tom Brady lose.
Absolutely. That's where an angel grows its wings, is when Tom Brady loses.
Coming from the lone Bills fan in the room, by the way.
Hell yeah.
This really is there's not a better time to try it. The NFL is down. People are pissed off at them for dumb reasons and legitimate reasons. And fucking there's stupid shit like the wheel of discipline where you have no idea what a dude is going to get suspended for and how long, depending upon what he's done. There's opportunity, and the other big thing is all these companies, they're desperate for streaming content, are way overpaying for it right now. So if Facebook or Twitter or someone like that drops some big chunk of money in front of them, there's really nothing holding them back. I'm excited. I think spring football in the US is entirely possible if you have a legitimate, like, if you understand that it's never going to beat the NFL, it's never going to be bigger, but it could sustain itself. Dude, Johnny Manziel, but he's got Johnny Football on the back of his jersey. That's how you fucking started off, and you sign Tim Tebow, and you get them in the same division, and you start off with that rivalry. It's perfect.
So you're already fantasy booking football.
Yeah.
Why not?
The
Somebody has to.
The NFL already fantasy books football too.
Tim Tebow owns a team. Think about that for a minute.
I don't think he's got the cash to do that.
He's part owner of the team, and they can put him out there as, quote, the owner.
That's true.
I mean, he would have enough.
You could almost do like a player coach thing with a recently retired NFL pro or something like that.
Could you imagine Ray Lewis? He'd have a chance again.
Oh, I don't want to, but
you didn't realize that.
But it's entirely possible, and that's the thing is there are all these football players that have made this huge name for themselves outside of the NFL, one way or the other, and if you bring them all in at the same time, like imagine Kaepernick. What if he comes in?
Exactly.
You know that's going to get fucking press. Why not? Like, if you're a new football league, why the fuck not sign all these guys? Everyone's going to be talking about us, and then they're going to watch us. And then if they play well, fuck, it's icing on top of the cake. It's exciting, dude. I think it has a chance, but
I hope it does because, yeah, the NFL is just awful. I want something different.
Well, I mean, we'll see what happens. I just want to see it. I just want to see a unique product. I just don't want to see Concussion City. Speaking of Concussion City,
if they can decide what a catch is, they might have something.
Absolutely.
Dean Ambrose had successful surgery.
Dean Ambrose had successful surgery to repair a high-grade triceps tendon injury. No word on how long he'll be out. Word going around the Performance Center is that Ricochet and War Machine will start in January if their medical tests go through. Michael Elgin very happy about War Machine leaving New Japan.
Yes.
Sad but true. But hey, we're going to have War Machine. Yeah. Now, here's my fantasy booking for a six-way. War Machine versus Heavy Machinery versus Killian Dane and somebody else from Sanity. How's that sound?
That sounds like perfectly fine to me.
I think if you had the Authors of Pain in the fourth corner, that's a hefty match.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for that.
You have Killian Dane and then Wolf. Wolf's a big boy himself.
Yes.
I wonder if they're probably going to have to change their name, right?
Maybe.
I would think. You got Heavy Machinery and then versus War Machine. I mean, I guess it would work just fine, but it's just like I would just think they would probably change their name.
I'm not. I'm not too thrilled about War Machine leaving New Japan and going to WWE just because I like War Machine in New Japan, and New Japan definitely needs the tag teams, and WWE doesn't know how to book tag teams to save their fucking lives.
Ricochet is going to save 205 Live.
Nah, I think he'll just be main roster and not 205.
Yeah, he's probably gonna like he could do very well for himself in NXT in the meantime though.
I can't wait for Rick O'Shea.
I would very much assume that with Ricochet comes Tessa Blanchard.
Yes.
That's kind of that's always been my assumption, because it's clear that the door is open there for Tessa, and she doesn't really have any good reason to go until he's there. So that's kind of where I see this going.
They call her Tessa Orchard, and she'll come out in an apple picker's outfit, like a straw hat.
Oh Jesus! They're already doing that with the girl with fucking Sarah Lee. Or what's her fucking not Sarah Lee? Excuse me, the girl on fucking SmackDown.
Rachel Evers.
Yes.
Instead of Ellering, so she'll be Tessa Blavers.
Hey, did you guys hear about that new alcohol for dogs they came out with?
No.
Say what now?
Yeah,
new
alcohol for dogs. Yeah, they're calling it Jack Spaniels.
No. Please, no.
Ouch.
No, God, no. Please. God.
You can't put a knife through the internet. Sadly.
Oh, Lordy.
All right, let's put a knife through this segment. Somebody else do the next news bit.
The rumored Hall of Fame inductees this year, as reported by Brad Shepard, who is the man who broke the XFL story, are Goldberg, the Dudleys, Bam Bam Bigelow, Ivory, and Kid Rock. Batista, Dave Bautista himself, was talked about for this class, but he's talking more seriously about actually returning to the WWE full-time. AJ Lee is working as a writer and executive producer for a TV project based on her autobiography. I think it's Crazy is My Superpower, right?
Yep.
All right.
Correct.
In Enzo Amore news, the Delaware DMV wants Enzo Amore to change his signature on his driver's license for being too suggestive. Enzo insists it is an E and an A. It's a very long A, and the E is sideways. It's a cock. He drew a cock on his driver's license.
Oh, good Lord. This sounds so much like Enzo.
Which is the most Enzo Amore thing I think anyone could do.
There, I just put it up in the chat for us.
I mean, you can go look at it if you want, but if you've ever seen a crudely drawn penis, which I'm sure everyone on the planet has, you know what this looks like.
Enzo Amore is not his real name, right?
No, it's something. I have no idea, but I don't think it's his real name.
Also, why the fuck is Kid Rock going into the Hall of Fame? Like, why?
Celebrity
His initials
winner.
are REA though.
I guess his initials really are E and A.
Eric Anthony Arndt.
Kid
I mean,
Rock,
still.
because he was a friend of the company for a while there, and gave him some songs, and back when he was kind of a big deal, so that
He's also had more WrestleMania airtime than probably a good chunk of wrestlers who've been in that company.
Ugh.
I bet he's had more time on the WrestleMania main card than what's his name? Neville has.
Probably.
Pretty sad all around. What do you guys think about this rumor of Batista more seriously actually thinking about returning to WWE? I'm mostly just shocked by it.
Give me it.
Like, if he is serious about being full-time, I'd be okay with that.
Just don't give him the Royal Rumble or a world title again.
Well, you could do it, just don't make it like, he's made it clear he's not a nostalgia pop. He's not a one night deal, and that's kind of how they treated him when he came back the last time.
I would like to see more Batista. More spotlight, please. More Blutista.
I love me some Big Dave. I'm just kind of surprised he'd be even considering stepping away from Hollywood right now, considering how well his career is going. But I mean, if he's got that itch, I'm all for it.
I mean, yeah, he's doing well, but it's not like he's The Rock. So, I think he wants to have
business.
Yeah, that one last run where he puts a cap in it, like kind of like Goldberg did, I guess.
Yeah, I was just thinking that he probably saw what Goldberg did in his last run and was just like, I want that.
Yep. Goldberg is the prototype for that one.
Yeah, and I won't be going out on much of a limb here to think maybe he deserves his one last run. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Guess it wouldn't be too bad.
I mean, the last one was definitely marred by several things. The one big thing, which wasn't his fault, but I think the other thing too is I think he kind of recognizes that the product is somewhat stale, and he thinks he could help elevate it again.
Well, that's good and everything, but I think it's going to take more than one person to elevate this product.
Who would you like to see him work with? It's the real question here. If he's going to come back, he's going to have a couple of big programs.
I would answer.
Braun.
You know what? Roman Reigns.
Yes.
Oh, hell yes.
I think he could pull a good program. He could shove his hand down Reigns' throat and pull good promos, a good program out of him.
Of course, I have to bring up if John Cena had a difficult time doing it, then how much of a hill to climb would that be for Batista?
Well, keep in mind, Cena is a company man, and I think if Batista came back, he's not necessarily the company man. He's there to look good and to have a good run. So he's not gonna be like, he ain't losing to Reigns in their first match or anything. You know what I mean? It ain't gonna be Lesnar coming back and beating Cena up for 20 minutes and then losing.
I think the only name that was not mentioned that I'd like to see him against is Samoa Joe as well. I think that match should be a lot of fun. But yeah, big fucking Dave. I just think it's crazy because he's done fantastic in Hollywood, but I'm excited about it. All right, are we rolling on 15 minutes here?
Yes, please.
Ooh, hold on. Let me try something. Let me see if I can work this from my phone. Hang on just a second.
You're gonna take too long, bud.
Oh boy.
Let him try it. Oh my god! Nice job, Jester. Doing it better than Yako.
Hey. Sometimes I pull shit off.
Sometimes. That's a key word there. Sometimes. All right, 15-minute time limit. Okay, so we're going to talk about the pay-per-view that just happened, which was kind of boring. It was
no more than
That was
kind
the
of.
pay-per-view? All right, I completely blanked out the entire time I was watching it.
I pretty much did the same.
Here. I think I fell asleep during a match.
I skipped the last 2 matches to watch an E-Fed.
The tag match was the best match of the night, in my opinion. But Mojo Rawley defeated Zack Ryder. Who cares? Anyone?
What the fuck is Mojo's theme?
Yeah, what's his Tron? Like they're using the Usos font, like that the evil Uso font, where it's like a black background and the letters are all kind of jagged and stuff. Like
I wish I knew.
if they're already screwing him up again, like this is why I get mad because he turns on Zack. Well, first of all, they tease it for like how many months, and then they don't go through with it, and then it's like it doesn't exist, and then they finally go through with it. They give him a match on the pre-show. Zack, gets some offense in. Mojo basically beats him up the whole match, wins, and then it's like it's only going to work if you push the guy, and they could just as easily not do it. And it's like, well, what's the point of all these? Like, it's so basic to have this on the show. I mean, they just.
I will say, his promos on Twitter he did on Zack were fucking great. It'd be nice if you had stuff like that on SmackDown, but that would actually require pushing someone.
It really felt like a promo that he wasn't just reading off a script. Like they let him have 2 minutes to say whatever he wanted, and it actually worked. Lo and behold. But whatever, time will tell in the next month to see how many SmackDowns he's actually on, and if he's actually beating people, or if he disappears again, and then that'll be that. I would hate to be in a spot like that because it's like, well, are they never going to push me? And do I bring them more ideas? Do I just reinvent myself completely, or do I just leave and
Damn, that sounds kind of familiar. It sounds like Duty's facing this match almost.
Is he Ryback? That was my question.
No, because Ryback got to push.
Yes.
You got to push to the main event for title matches. Mojo Rawley is not even going to get a U.S. title shot.
Dolph wins the U.S. title.
What the fuck?
Speaking of, U.S. title and everything, I don't know. I think they don't do this very often. But it kind of felt like this was the match where they were like, man, all these matches are predictable, and on paper they're all kind of boring. So let's just have Dolph win. And then we can keep this. I don't know. They're in that slump. They're in that end-of-year slump where they're building to the Rumble, and it's like, the program with Rude and Corbin is not very good to begin with. So, put in Dolph, and Dolph's promo on SmackDown was actually pretty decent just because he's like, well, now that I won the thing, let me remind you of all the stuff I've done. And, and then he walked out and left the title. So maybe he doesn't show up for a few weeks. And it's like, let people forget about me again. Like, then he can be mad about that. He can say, hey, I'm the U.S. champ. Why isn't anybody asking, where's Dolph? See what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because he sucks. That's why nobody's asking where Dolph is.
I wouldn't say that. I think they just, his time is past.
Should have had Corbin retain.
Should have had Rude win.
Not on this pay-per-view. Wait till the Rumble.
Usos defeated the New Day, Gable and Benjamin, Rusev and Aiden English to retain the SmackDown Tag Titles. MVPs, Rusev and Gable.
Absolutely. I'm just... Why are they putting Gable in the tag division? He could totally do fine by himself.
Because he's short.
Because if he's in the singles division, then he's in the same spot that, Rawley and Rude and Corbin are in, which is, sort of impressing in the matches, but it doesn't matter because,
You could easily have Gable go for the U.S. title. Like, how hard is it? You know, American Olympic wrestler going for the United States title.
There are, like I said earlier, there are a lot of easy things that they don't do. And in fact, a very easy thing at the moment, Rusev is like the most over guy on SmackDown. Am I wrong about that?
Nope.
No.
Well, maybe AJ.
Well, him and, well, yeah, AJ, I guess. But him and like English as a tandem, you know, is really clicking right now. And considering they've done New Day and Usos forever, and they're good matches, don't get me wrong, but they actually have a pretty decent tag division right now between that and what Gable's doing. So, you know,
Their tag division looks amazing compared to Raw.
I like the bar.
But you can have the bar and Shield like 500 times. Hey, we can do that every Raw.
There's
you know
some.
were you going to bring up that statistic?
Yep.
Yeah.
The Seth Rollins 78% of the matches with either Cesaro or Sheamus in it.
What I heard was, or what somebody posted on Twitter was, there's been some combination of Rollins and Ambrose versus Cesaro and Sheamus, be it tag matches or singles or whatever, on every single Raw since July.
Dear fuck. It's like, you know you have other tag teams, right?
Do they, though?
Do they on Raw?
They've got Titus
They got-
Worldwide.
You got Titus Worldwide, you got Revival, and you got the Club.
The Club, well, Revival now that they're back, so maybe. But
Oh yeah, you've got the Shining Stars.
They got
They're on
released.
SmackDown.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was trying to make a joke, but it sucked. Just like
They-
Raw's tag division.
Well, whatever. Dana Brooke is with Titus Worldwide now. Did you see that?
Who
Well,
cares?
yes, I did.
Which I think it's funny because she was with the Club last year when they were doing the feud with the New Day.
Let's move on here. Charlotte defeated Natalya.
Okay.
It was there.
It was a thing that happened.
It was a match.
I didn't.
Here's another thing that should have helped lead to the announcement of the Women's Royal Rumble. Is this should have been a clusterfuck from the get-go.
They could have brought that up. Steph could have brought that up on SmackDown. They didn't. Again, Shane didn't bring it up at all on SmackDown. You know, didn't even mention SmackDown was in the Women's Rumble, even though they surely will be. I didn't realize until they actually got out there. Naomi was like the only face lumberjack, right?
I think so.
It was her, and it was Riot Squad, and it was Carmella, and it was Tamina and Lana. Those are all heels.
And there's something else that I'm forgetting.
Well, Naomi did that. You could tell because Naomi did that moonsault on all the other lumberjacks, and like she hit maybe 2
Right.
out of what, the 6 or 7. So yeah.
In the match of the night, the Bludgeon Brothers defeated Breezango.
This is the other thing that annoys me. Like, let's just assume. I don't think that's the case because they're still doing fashion files on, I guess, WWE.com, right? But let's just assume that the Bludgeon Brothers were in fact, and they were at one point, they were supposed to be the mystery assailants. They were to be, they were, you know, whatever. If that's the case, and this is the payoff, like, what are you even doing?
7 months for a squash.
The most horrible payoff I think we've had in wrestling in a long, long time.
Now, again, I don't really think that it is, to be honest, because I feel like they're going to keep doing the skits. If they keep doing the skits and they never bring it up again, like the mystery, then sure. But if they keep doing them and it's like they tease something else, then, you know, maybe. But, which, by the way, why don't they just do them on SmackDown anyway? They have jumped the shark, but they're still like more entertaining than a Bludgeon Brothers squash, for example.
Which is a complete.
You mean the Canaanites?
Yes, the Canaanites. That's right. It's the Canaanites on this show. Goddamn, I forgot about that.
It's just the fucking saddest thing ever.
Speaking of sad things, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defeated Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura.
God,
I didn't watch this match.
You were so lucky, dude.
Shane came out looking like a prick.
They all came out looking like dicks. They all came out looking like fucking idiots, except for Owens and Zayn, which is hilarious because they're supposed to be bad guys and they're supposed to look stupid. Orton and Shinsuke were just basically not really a factor, other than they're two dudes who can wrestle.
Right.
Daniel Bryan screwed up something, and Shane was yelling at him, and then Shane.
He didn't screw it up.
But that's the problem. Here's the problem, though. I don't know if he screwed it up or not. They didn't make any of this clear enough to have the story play out.
What it was I think Nakamura had one of them in a triangle, and Nakamura's shoulders were down, and Bryan started to count the pin, and Shane was like, "What are you doing? It's a triangle." And Bryan's like, "His shoulders are down."
Yeah, because Shane couldn't see that his shoulders were down because he was standing on the other side of them.
Or he didn't care, which, later in the match that became clear.
This match was stupid. I felt dumber for watching it. WCW, and they want their angle back.
Yeah. You know what? Certain matches, we complain all the time, and, certainly I do. Certain matches, for whatever reason, I have the ability to just click off. Like, I know it's stupid going in, and my standards have been lowered because I understand what they're trying to do. Like, this was not a match where you showcase Shinsuke Nakamura. This was not a match where, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are doing a Ring of Honor style battle. Like, this is a match where you had two referees that are not on the same page. And if you look at it like that, I think they executed it pretty decently. Honestly.
Yes.
Like if you're talking about like they're counting and they're out of sync and like they decide to each take a half of the ring, and then Shane, eventually kind of nobody turns, but Shane, like, he doesn't count the 3 for Zayn, and it's obvious that he's out to get them or he's not going to be fair. And then Bryan realizes that, and he does the fast count, and like the point where Owen shoved Bryan into Shane, but Shane, is upset about it because he thinks Bryan's trying to break him up. Like, that whole thing put together, if you ignore, the performance, the in-ring performances, and Randy Orton's goofy haircut, like, I mean, if it's a match about not the wrestlers but the two referees, then I think they did what they set out to do.
I don't think you can ignore the fact that Randy Orton. You can't ignore Randy Orton's haircut. You really just can't.
What is
like that?
Like, he's growing. Like, I see some silly haircuts because I live up north now, but I don't know. It's like the top part. He shaved all of it but the top part. And then he shaved the bottom part, but left the middle part grow out again. Like, I don't know. It's like a triple cage up there.
He needs to let it just kind of like where it's at right now grow out a little bit, and it'll probably look better.
I just don't understand. And then finally, AJ Styles defeated Jinder Mahal to retain the WWE title. Man, he tried to get a good match out of him. He tried.
Fuck, AJ won. Hopefully this means Jinder's out of the fucking main event scene now, so we can finally realize this experiment was a goddamn failure.
You know what? I liked that Jinder did the chops when he was on the middle rope, and he was like chopping his own hand, and then he would just like give AJ a quick little chop on the head.
That was
it was different. You know, it was like
different.
This whole run. Now he tries something different. You know,
different. That's a word. That's definitely.
Also, Jinder looked way more roided in this match. You can tell by his back knee, his front knee, and his whatever the fuck his nipples were.
His side knee.
His knee on the knee.
He has lost some muscle mass in his shoulders, or in the shoulder from the injury he was working with. So it's just like he's lost that mass, and now you can see what the roids have actually done to him.
Well, he wanted to look good for his match with Triple H in India, which he lost.
He lost. What?
Yeah.
Yep, Triple H beat Jinder Mahal in India.
And Triple H in the interview said, well, you know, Indian fans are savvy. You know, they know Jinder Mahal is a bad guy.
In other
Also,
words, no one
Triple H
gives
is
two
kind of
shits
like
about.
God there to their fans.
I'm pretty sure they edit their shows to make Jinder look like the good guy. But,
yes, they do.
You know, I guess so much for that experiment. You know, I work with a couple Indian people now, and they've all heard of Kali. They have no idea who Jinder is.
No one in India gives two shits about Jinder Mahal. They still all want Kali back, and they care about people like Roman Reigns and John Cena.
And we had a one-off from Kali this year, which was like for Jinder, but what? And then Kali never wasn't on the SmackDown after that, and yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, it's a long-term thing. It was always going to be a long-term thing, like long-term, not, you know, 6 months, long-term, like a couple years. You know, if they keep Jinder somewhat high on the card, I mean, the reality is, like, it's not like they got a packed roster and there's just no room, and like Jinder could easily fit into the U.S. title. In fact, he'd probably work better in the U.S. title scene, being the evil foreigner and everything. And, you know, he could team with somebody. He could team back up with Rusev, or, well, maybe not now that Rusev's got English, but he could team with Corbin maybe for some goofy reason. I mean, I don't think it's worth it to get rid of him. But, you know, obviously his run as, you know, a main eventer and the champion is over with for a while, if permanently.
It's like you can hear the heavens sing out.
Well, 15 minutes ran out like 4 minutes ago, so
Yeah.
So it was. I tell you what, it was a really skippable pay-per-view, which, you know, it's the last one of the year, and every title's defended on every show basically anyway. So, you know, they've really downplayed that gimmick of, you know, every title's on the line. They only got like 4 anyway. So
exactly 15-minute time limit. Or excuse me, scratch that. Dairy Queen drive-through. Vassar with the ratings.
And now it is time for the ratings, starting off with, as usual, is Impact with 161,000 viewers, down from 226,000. This is the lowest in company history.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
On to Raw, 2.786 million, up from 2.684 million the week previous, and SmackDown with 2.578 million, up from 2.481 million. And that is it for the ratings.
And now for Dog with the birthdays.
All right, happy birthday is today to Primo, to Oni Lorcan, aka Biff Busick, to Otis Dozovich, to Mauro Ranallo, to Mini Drago, to Kazu Matsuda, to Mike and Todd Shane, to the Patriot, and also to Ron Bass. Then tomorrow, happy birthday is to Luke Gallows, Josef von Schmidt, Caristico, Lady Dynamata, and Ronaldinho. Also, on the 23rd, happy birthdays to Eric Cannon, Jacob Pliskin, King Hustle, The Great Muta, Nane Takahashi, Mima Shimoda, Peso, Adrian Serrano, Jamie Noble, and Randy Thornton. Also, happy birthdays on the 24th to Cassius Ono, Ricky Knight, Toro Owashi, Zumbi, Amajit Singh, Jim Kettner, Brad Anderson, and Mike DiBiase. Then on the 25th, happy birthday to Hanson Rusev Claus, born on Christmas Day. It's perfect. Happy Rusev Day, everybody. Also, happy Rusev Days to Chris Harris, to Shane Hollister, to Yoshihiko, who was apparently born on Christmas. That's good to know. Chango, Daisuke Miura, Strong Kobayashi, El Gran Apollo, and Raka Khan. Also, happy birthdays on the 26th to Fabi Apache, to Sendai Sashiko, to Rick Converse, to Midian, and to Tom Howard. And then on the 27th, happy birthdays to Cesaro, Andy Levine, or Levine, whatever, Zelina Vega, Ashley America, Bill Scullion, Axe, Goldberg, Masashi Oyagi, Tim Roberts, The Wall Brother, and China. Those are your birthdays.
And now it is time for This Week in Wrestling with Omega BR.
Yes, This Week in Wrestling History, circa 1970, where Toru Tanaka defeats Fritz Von Erich in Houston, Texas to win the NWA American Heavyweight title, later to become the World Class Heavyweight title, ending Fritz's 8th reign as champion. Jump to 1975, where Bearcat Brown and Tommy Gilbert defeat the interns of Tom Andrews and Jim Starr to win the NWA Mid-America Southern Tag Team title, ending the interns' 4th reign. And in 1991, Blue Panther defeats Satanico in a tournament final to become the first CMLL World Middleweight title in Acapulco, Mexico. Panther would vacate the title 6 months later when he jumped to the rival AAA promotion. And that was This Week in Wrestling History.
All right, and let's see here with Happy Trails. Happy Trails to former manager Yamaguchi-san, who has suffered a stroke and is fighting for his life. He managed Kaientai. And another sad Happy Trails. Happy Trails to the friends and family of Tom Zenk, who Tom passed away at the age of 59. All right, and what should we watch this week in wrestling? Vassar.
Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates match last night on NXT.
Shao Kahn.
I haven't really watched wrestling in 2 weeks due to work, but I did rewatch NXT last night, and I guess the tag title match.
Oh, take both of the ones I was going to use.
Nat Jester.
Bastard. Okay, I'll just pick something that was semi-decent from Raw. When I remember what that was, I'll tell you. Hang on.
Jesus, Omega BR.
Oh, goodness. I would say watch the... Oh, geez, I don't... Watch the Fashion Files on WWE.com, because if you don't, they might stop doing it. And even though it's not very good now, or at least not as good as it was, I still enjoy it. And the Ascension's in it. They play off each other well. Make sure the Ascension still have a job. How about that?
Rise.
Justin, do you have what you're looking for?
Well, if Omega can do not necessarily wrestling, then so can I. I thought the best thing I saw in professional wrestling this week was WWE's Table for Three, where they had Club Extreme. Go watch the one with Matt and Jeff Hardy as they talk to Finn Balor and see how much their are similar in the way they came up, in the way they started their professional wrestling careers, and say what they say about some of their gimmicks, their face paint, their little behind-the-scenes look into the woken and broken gimmick.
Because that was a damn good match, and if you want to see what you have to look for, Batista, look at that match.
Okay, did we all get that? Because he did cut out a little bit.
To tell him.
God damn it! I know that I cut out there for a second, but I didn't know how much I cut out of.
You cut out the match, and then we heard the end of it.
Oh, you need to do at AJ Styles. Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
So thank y'all for listening. We really appreciate it. I'm going to try to do this quick before my button cuts out, because apparently moving to wireless is just really freaking with my stuff. YouTube.com.
Wait, I don't get a fucking...
Oh, dog. Sorry, bud. Go ahead.
Asshole.
My bad.
Hey, I have the most important one, too, so you should really feel bad. Yesterday...
I almost will.
You should, and you're going to.
Oh, yeah. He does have the best one.
What's the best?
So yesterday was the 10-year anniversary, to the day of one of the most, the best Christmas episode of wrestling of all fucking time. Go back and watch the 2007 TNA Wrestling Christmas Impact. This episode includes, among other things, a cage match where the top of the cage is Christmas lights that I believe explode or something stupid. The entire episode in between the matches takes place in Kurt Angle's house where he's having Christmas dinner.
That's
that includes
right.
Eric Young dressed up as an elf, as well as Samoa Joe coming in and just fucking destroying everything, including throwing a Christmas tree around.
Hell yeah.
And then two of the most TNA matches of all time. You got the Motor City Machine Guns and Jay Lethal versus Team 3D and Johnny Devine. And including the midget MCMG, remember when they were running around with them, and Jay Lethal in the double North Pole match. And then also the Silent Night Bloody Night match, the greatest match in TNA history. Abyss versus Black Rain versus Relic versus Shark Boy in a neck brace. With a barbed wire Christmas tree. Merry Christmas,
the barbed wire
everybody.
Christmas tree. I remember the Christmas tree. That was fucking hilarious.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Only in TNA.
All right. We're good? Yank 'em?
I say so.
Yank 'em? God damn it. Still not here.
Yank 'em!
Thank you for listening. We appreciate it very much. SmarkSnark.com, Twitter.com/SmarkSnark, Facebook.com, which is getting a goddamn reboot, and YouTube.com/SmarkSnark, which is what we should be broadcasting on right now. Subscribe, like, share. Please share us. Fucking get us around. We're a good podcast. We just need the exposure. Not like Bill Cosby, though. Thank you for listening. Take care. Spike your hair.
Woo, woo, woo.
You know it.
Good night, DeLong.
And hello, Yankum, who's not here because why not?